Welcome back everyone. In my previous videos already I have discussed about that what is the concept of PPC or PPF, and in another video I have proved the first property of PPC, that PPC is downward sloping. Now today I am going to discuss about the second property, and the second property is PPC or production possibility curve is concave to the origin. So already I have discussed about that PPC, its definition. It has two property, that PPC is downward sloping, and second property, it is concave to the origin. Now students, to prove that PPC it is concave to the origin, what we have to do? First, you see, we know that it is our PPC curve, means if we measure good X along the horizontal axis and good Y along the vertical axis, then this is our PPC curve. Suppose let us take one name, that is MN. It is our PPC. Now its shape, it is concave to the origin, so we have to prove this. Now before going to prove about that concept, means concave, here one thing you have to remember, the mathematical concept of concave is what? Means at each and every point on a curve, its slope, the slope of the curve, it actually changes. Okay, now if we move along the PPC from left to right, and for that if I can prove that its slope is increasing, then only I can prove that PPC is concave. Means for a concave curve, its slope, it will actually increase. But it is the concept of mathematics. If any curve is convex, then as we will move from left to right along the curve, and for that if its slope decreases, then I can say the curve is convex to the origin. And similarly, if I tell that for a straight line, if its slope at each and every point, if we move from left to right along the curve, and if its slope remain constant, then the curve, it will become straight line. So here I have to prove that here the slope, it will increase as we will move from left to right. Okay, the idea is clear. Now let us prove that. So for that, what we have to do? See, if we take, students, just follow carefully what I am doing. If we take this distance are equal, means at equidistant point, suppose 3 point I have taken equidistant point. Now if you draw one perpendicular from that point on the curve, suppose here I am getting, it is a point, suppose A. Now from here also one perpendicular on the curve I am drawing. Let this is the perpendicular, and let it is the point B. Similarly here also another perpendicular on the curve I am drawing, let it is C. Okay. Now the concept is what? See, if a producer produce 1 unit, let it is 1 unit. So if a producer produce 1 unit of good X, then using the resource, how much amount of good Y he is producing? This much. Similarly, for extra 1 unit more production of good X, how much good Y he has to sacrifice? He is sacrifice, suppose, this much amount of, suppose it is point D, suppose AD amount of good Y. So you see, for BD amount more extra production of good X, producer is sacrificing AD amount of good Y. Okay. Similarly, for again 1 unit extra production of CE amount of good X, the amount of sacrifice of good Y, it is BE. Now you see, in this way, if a producer produce 1 unit more of good X, the amount of sacrifice of good Y, it will gradually increase. It will gradually increase. Here for our proof I have taken only 3 points. If more point if I take, then the idea it will be clear to you. Let I am taking another point here, suppose this one. Then again, for 1 unit extra production of this much amount of good X, the amount of sacrifice of good Y, it is this much. Okay, it is suppose I am taking here another name, suppose it is F, and take the point name, it is G. Okay. Now, so if I find the slope of the PPC at point B, at point C, at point F, and if I can prove that the slope of the curve it is gradually increasing, then we can prove that yes, PPC is concave to the origin. Okay, the idea is clear. So students, you see, so if I take slope of PPC at point B, then what will be the slope? Actually, this slope of PPC, it is also called MRT, marginal rate of transformation. It is called marginal rate of transformation. In another video, I will explain about in details that what is MRT. So now for your understanding, you just keep in mind that here slope of the PPC at point B will be what? Means MRT at point B will be what? How much good Y the producer he is sacrificing, means it is AD divided by the amount of extra production of good X, means AD by BD. So it is the slope of the PPC at point B. Similarly, if you take slope of PPC at point C, then it is we can also tell it is nothing but MRT at point C. So MRT will be what? The same thing, means the amount of sacrificing of good Y, means it is BE divided by amount of extra production of good X, means CE. Similarly, if I take another point, means slope of PPC at point F, then we can get that MRT at point F, it is nothing but the amount of sacrifice of good Y, that is CG, by amount of extra production of good X, that is GF. Now students, if you compare these three ratios, then what I can get? Initially, before starting, I have told you that let these gaps are equal. So if these gap are equal, means I can say that BD, CE, GF, all these are equal, means we can say that as BD equals to CE, equals to GF. And another thing you see here, CE from the graph you can see CG it is greater than BE. Again you can see that BE it is greater than AD. So as CG it is greater than BE, again BE is greater than AD. So we can say, what we can say? You see now, here for this 3 ratio, all the denominators they are equal. Now here the numerator is greater, CG, means its value will be, means the value of the total ratio, this one will be greater than the value of this ratio, is it not? Simply just one example I am just taking. Suppose if you take that all the 3 ratio, here the denominator, let us consider here denominator it is 5. Here CG means the numerator it is greater than BE and AD. Let I am taking it is 30. Here BE suppose I am taking it is 20 and AD suppose I am taking 10. Then what we will get? We can get it is its value is 6, its value will be 4, its value will be 2. Means I can say that this ratio it is greater than this ratio. Similarly, the value of this ratio will be greater than the value of this ratio. Okay, means from comparing, so if I give the name, this is equation 1, it is 2 and it is 3. So by comparing equation 1, 2 and 3, so we can get, what we can get, that CG by GF obviously it is greater than BE by CE, obviously it is also greater than this ratio, means AD by BD. So what we can say, slope of PPC, or I can say that MRT at point F it is greater than MRT, or slope of PPC at point C greater than slope of PPC means MRT at point B. So from this I can say that as we are moving from left to right along the PPC, its slope it is increasing, its slope it is increasing. So PPC it is concave to the origin. Means the conclusion here I can write that as we move along the PPC from left to right, its slope increases, therefore PPC is concave to the origin, it is concave to the origin. So this one is the proof of second property of PPC. Clear? It is so this one is the proof. Now here one question it may arise to you, that why when the amount of sacrificing it is increasing, or why when the slope it increases, why it is concave? Okay, so there is one mathematical concept is there, but that is apart from this study, means apart from this topic. So that mathematical concept let me clear to you. Acha, all of you, if you follow our earlier video, there I have told you I have done one PPC schedule na, one PPC schedule. This kind of a schedule I have done. There you can see I have already taken that there are 100 laborers to a producer, means it is the amount of resource. So it is the resource. Now using that 100 laborers, producer can produce 5 combination I have assumed. By using these 100 workers, producer can produce either 0 unit of good X and suppose 20 unit of good Y, or if he wants to produce more of good X, then 1 unit of good X and here 18 unit of good Y, then here 2 unit, here 14 unit, then 3 here I have taken it is 8 unit, here 0 here I have taken, sorry, here 4 unit, here I have taken 0 unit. So that kind of a schedule we have got now. There also I have told you that if we want to measure that what actually PPC, its slope, how it is coming. So you can see for every 1 unit extra production of good X, for every 1 unit extra production of good X, the amount of sacrifice of good Y, it is increasing now. So the amount of sacrifice, it has increases. So these are called the amount of sacrifice. So these are increasing. So these increases means this is the amount of sacrifice. Suppose this one initially, this one was the amount of sacrifice, then it is increases, after that it again increases. So in this way it will go on. Okay, so that's why we have got PPC, it is concave shape. Now the mathematical concept is, you see, let us suppose there are 3 types of curve I am taking, and for all those curves let me show you what happened. Very elaborately I am discussing the concept, so listen it, your total idea will be clear. Now suppose I am taking one variable, suppose X. It is a mathematical concept I am taking. Suppose here for this variable let us take the values 50, 48, 44, then let us take 38, 30, and next one take suppose 20. Acha, another concept let us take X. Its values are 50, 48, okay, just a minute, let it is 50, then 40, then 32, 26, then 22, then 20, and let us take another concept. Suppose it is X, its values are falling, that is 50, 48, 46, 44, 42, 40, like this. Now students, what you can see from this value, you see here the value of X, it has continuously decreases. Here also the value of X has decreases. Here also the value of X has decreases. So the value of these 3 variable, it has decreases. But here rate of decrease I have changed. Here the rate of decrease for each and every variable they are different. See here X has first decreases by 2 unit, then after that X has decreases by 4 unit, thereafter it is decreases by 6 unit, after that it is 8, after that it is 10. Means what? This value, these are decreasing but at increasing rate. The value of x, these are decreasing but at increasing rate. Means I can say that value of x decreases but at increasing rate. So students, keep it mind, if any value, if value decreases, then obviously I can tell the curve will be downward sloping. Curve will be downward sloping. But as its value has decreases at increasing rate, so here the curve, it must be concave. Means when the value of any variable decreases at increasing rate, the curve must be concave. This is the mathematical concept. That's why for production possibility curve, I have proved that if we move from left to right along the PPC, and for that if its slope increases, the curve become concave. Got it? See, if you follow here, suppose this distance, if you take the same distance, then suppose I am taking one perpendicular, suppose it is one perpendicular, this is another perpendicular, suppose this is another perpendicular, this is another one, suppose these gaps are same, okay, then you can see for every 1 unit production of good x, the amount of sacrifice of good y is this much. Again, for every 1 unit production of good x, the amount of sacrifice of good y is this much. Again, for every 1 unit production of good x, the amount of sacrifice of good y is this much. So here the amount of sacrifice, these are increasing, means this concept is following now. So that's why we have got that if any curve is concave, then its value will fall, value will decrease but at increasing rate. So the curve must be concave. But if you take here the case, then you can find here initially value has decreases by 10, after that it has decreases by 8, then 6, then by 4 unit, then by 2 unit. Means here the value of x, it has decreases but at decreasing rate, So here I can write that value of x has decreases but at decreasing rate. So if it decreases at decreasing rate, means curve must be convex, means downward sloping convex. All these are downward sloping. The same concept we can do for increasing also. So if any curve increases, then also the curve, it may increase either at increasing rate, means a curve, if it increases at increasing rate, then it will be convex. If any curve increases at a decreasing rate, it will be concave. If any curve increases at constant rate, then it will be upward rising straight line. So like this, for increasing also we can get these 3 types of curvature. But now here I am not telling about that concept. Let you just focus on this. Okay. So in some other video I will explain about this thing. So here curve will be convex, means if you take the curve, any convex curve, it is a convex curve, okay, the same concept will remain same. If you take this horizontal distance same, then what you can find, see now, for every 1 unit increase, means increase in production of good x, the amount of production of good y was sacrificed by this much. Then for again 1 unit extra production of good x, the amount of sacrifice of good y is this much. Then again for 1 unit extra production of good x, the amount of sacrifice of good y is this much. Means here you can see the amount of sacrifice of good y, it is decreasing continuously. Means this concept here x, it has decreases, but it has decreases at decreasing rate. Means these are the value of x, so these are decreasing, but it has decreases at decreasing rate. Means these rate are continuously decreasing. Okay, and for straight line, what I will get? For straight line also you can see that here the value of x, it has decreases, but by a constant rate. Suppose each value has decreases by 2 unit. Okay, so here I will get the curve is downward sloping straight line. So let me write here that value of x has decreases but at constant rate. So in case of constant rate, we will get it is straight line. Means downward sloping straight line, obviously. Now here also the concept is same. If you keep this distance equal, means horizontal distance, then every time you can find, see, these values are continuously decreasing, means x value it has decreases. Now here the amount of or the rate of decrease, it will remain constant. Means here initially the amount of decrease is this much, after that the rate of decrease it is this much, after that the rate of decrease it is this much, after that the rate of decrease also this much. Okay, means this rate of decrease are constant. So in that case we can get a straight line. Okay, so depending on this mathematical concept, I have told you that a PPC, it will be concave. Means if you measure good x along the horizontal axis and good y along the vertical axis, then PPC, it will be concave if and only if its slope gradually increases as we will move from left to right. So the curve will be concave. Means its MRT will increase. Or we can say, for every 1 unit more production of good x, so for every 1 unit more production of good x, the amount of sacrifice of good y, it will gradually decline. Then the curve will be concave. Means for every 1 unit more production of good x, अगर x गुड को 1 यूनिट से प्रोडक्शन बढ़ाता है तो फिर द प्रोडक्शन ऑफ y, it will gradually, the amount of sacrifice of good y, it will gradually increase. Then the curve will be concave shape. Okay, I think the idea, it is clear. Now here I have used one term, that is MRT, or it is also called marginal rate of transformation. Now what is that? In the upcoming videos I will discuss about that. Thank you everyone. Okay.